Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I have learned my green screening and zooming skills. JT the Brick's not even aware that, like, the leg lamp is gone now. We've moved some things around here. I'm about to move some furniture. Brick, man, my hips were killing me. You know what this is like, dude. You sit around on your ass, do nothing but talk about sports all day, all night, all over the country, all over the world. And you know, you got to move a little bit. And I see these ESPN anchors standing and moving around. So, you know, my new green screen thing, I'm going to be standing and moving the camera because I'm getting old. We've been doing this 30 years, Brick. You know, I'm falling apart.
30 for you, 25 coming up for me on Memorial Day. My 25-year anniversary right around the corner. I'm actually excited about it.
I do 30 on December the 13th is my 30th anniversary on the radio.
How long you want to do this?
Well, I mean, the pivot for me in the middle of all of this was moving to Baltimore Positive a couple of years ago. And you and I have had long conversations about the future of sports. And, I mean, you're in a different spot, dude. You have moved around the country a little bit, but you've landed in Vegas at this awful time for humanity and tourism, but a really interesting time to be in Vegas and involved in sports, right? I mean, in the last 10 minutes, they've got a hockey team, hosted a Stanley Cup final where we had an interesting evening there at the Mandarin. And now I've got a football team that I see behind you. So, like, you're moving into a space where sports is sort of on the swing up, pro sports in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it's pro sports are exploding out here, and we have a culture of college sports. You know, the Running Rebels of UNLV, those great teams, and great boxing. I mean, boxing historically in Vegas and all the great events. We have NASCAR. We have 2 races a year now. So there's a lot of big things happening. But this stadium, Allegiant Stadium in T-Mobile, is a game changer for what we love, music and live events. Now, instead of having only one venue in T-Mobile that holds about 19,000, we can now roll everyone over to a Garth Brooks show or a Stone show and do 80 to 90,000. That's a game changer. And then we're going to have Final Fours. We're going to have boxing. We're going to have every big event in the NCAA. We're going to have global soccer where Messi and Ronaldo are going to play in this stadium eventually. So it's really exciting times.
You've been in there a handful of times. I see you have your green screen, but, you know, you could be sitting in there. I've seen you in there with videos and pictures and whatnot. You know, run me through it. Jerry's is going to remind me of Dallas. I mean, last time I was out there was maybe 2 years ago. It was coming up, you know, at some point. But I haven't been to Vegas in a while. Brick, I haven't been anywhere in a while.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it'll remind you of. It'll remind you of nothing, because what they did here was they made this super Death Star stadium and they made it completely Raiders. So when you come here for other events, concerts, you come here for a fight, you're not going to think you're at that venue. You're going to think you're at a Raider game. It's all Al Davis. It's all Al Davis, silver and black, the torch, the white couches. It's got this 80s vibe to it, this 60s vibe to it, and the brand new Vegas vibe to it. Well, you got a nightclub brought to you by Win in the End Zone. And I'm not talking a nightclub with tabletops. I'm talking a nightclub with leather couches and a DJ right behind that. Some of the nicest.
Do they open it during the day?
No day clubs here.
Oh,
No
I'm just wondering. I didn't know. Yeah, the early morning kickoff there. Is a nightclub going to be open during the day? I don't know.
Yeah, it will be open during the day. Absolutely open during the day. And what I think happened, and
then it's not a nightclub.
Well, it's a day club. Here in Vegas, we've taken day clubs over the last 20 years to the next level. But it's going to be.
I paid $12 for a bottle of water at a day club called a pool.
Well, it's better than $600 for a bottle of vodka or Tommy's tequila, which would have been $1,000. But
priceless to you, priceless.
Yes, this place is going to be incredible because you're going to have a vibe that you're in something super modern, but it's connected to the brand and the culture of the Raider Nation. It's Raider Nation on steroids, cleaned up with bells and whistles, and it's got everything. It's got everything for the hardcore football fan and the football client that's paying over $1 million or more for one of these great suites that are going to have all the amenities.
Brick, today is a special day in my life, and you know this because you and I have traveled. I mean, you've been all over the world, chasing music and sports like me. I had the Stones tickets on my app for Jack Murphy Stadium, and then I looked up on Twitter a month ago, and they were ripping Jack Murphy Stadium apart. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm never going there again. That really, really, really sucks. So, like, things have changed during the pandemic, but I made a little bit about this week because I haven't gone anywhere. And I look on my calendar, there's been nothing other than, the Super Bowl is in my calendar being played, but I'm not going. I haven't gone anywhere and done anything in probably about 5-6 months. I did go to a Ravens game. I went to Houston week 2. I went to Philly and Washington, which is not like a trip. It's like you get in the car. But the only trip I went on was to Houston, and I sat in the empty stadium on the roof, and I wasn't digging it, right?
Mhm.
So today was the day, and we made this appointment about a year ago, where I can get the global entry thing, right? So like today's the day I'm literally driving to BWI, which I don't do anymore, which I used to do regularly. I'm getting my global thing so that the next time I cross the bridge in Buffalo going to Toronto, I can just smile and say, America, I'm good, And I'm thinking, what the hell good is it? Like, what's the next thing I'm going to do you mentioned, Messi and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, the Ravens schedule's coming out in whatever, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We play in Vegas. Don't know if it's week 1, week 17, 18. I don't know how many weeks they're going to have, right? So I'm thinking the later that the game is, November, December, the better the odds that it's more normal and I'll be able to come out and do it. If it's week 1, maybe whatever. But like to me, I don't have anything on my calendar. Obviously, the Orioles baseball games. I've said to everyone, if I can have a beer, an honest-to-God big beer, 16, 18-ouncer, outside at Merriweather Post at any concert. I don't care who it is. Sheryl Crow, Cheap Trick, Garth Brooks. It doesn't matter. Just an outdoor beer at Merriweather. That will be like a milestone. But like this Vegas trip to me, and we play in Miami. We have a couple of games, right? The Vegas trip specifically for me, if I can do it, and you're there and I'm there and I can do one of these with you, I will feel like 2021, that's sort of the North Star. I don't think I'm getting to the Northern Lights. I don't really think I'm getting to Europe this year and seeing, my wife's stoner. We missed 2 weddings of his last year. I don't know that I'm really going to go to Jamaica or to an island or anything weird like that. I think my best crack this year at doing anything that might be fun would be getting to Vegas. So I just want to let you know that that's what your little giving me the tour of it, that it's the only North Star we've got right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you. I think with the pandemic where we're at, with the vaccines, with everybody having the free will to make their own decision to go and travel or not, people staying home or not, and then individuals our age getting vaccinated after we wait in line properly and let everyone go before us, from the elderly to the frontline workers, I think we'll have an opportunity to get our vaccination. And if you don't want to travel after a vaccination, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think there's going to be mass super spreader events. I don't think you're going to go into a stadium in Vegas or Baltimore and Detroit if they allow 50% or 100%. I'm going 100% capacity. You're going to have 2 options: stay home and don't go. And if you do go to the game, you're going to have to show something on your phone that proves that you were vaccinated, proving that you tested negative recently that week. Then you're going to have to go in wearing a mask. And then you go in there and have the time of your life. You take your mask off when you're drinking, you put it on when you're done eating, and you experience life. But I'm hoping that we're getting, not on the back end of this, but we're going to get more optimism where people are more comfortable to travel and do things to bring back the normalcy that we're waiting for.
You saw the Cleveland Lamar game when he was either disposed of or getting fluids, whatever was going on there. I've been going to Cleveland 25 years, watching lousy football. The one trip I don't go on, this legendary game happens, right? So I decided to skip Nashville because the Ravens went to Nashville. I'm like, if they're going to lose in Nashville, I don't need to be in Nashville. Nashville, the bomb had just gone off. Just didn't need to be there. But the Buffalo game, I was ready to go, right? So I had a credential, I had a flight, I had a hotel. And then I realized, they weren't going to let me in unless I got to Buffalo on Thursday, and went to the pharmacy and got the test and waited the 48 hours for the Saturday. And all of a sudden it was like, I don't need to go to the game. And I think there definitely is going to be a process, right, for some of this stuff. I don't know. I mean, the Orioles are talking about opening up, and there'll be space and they'll let a couple thousand people in or whatever. But the notion that testing and all of that, that is the next frontier for all of this, right? Like that sports is going to have to, fans are going to have to deal with some semblance of what the players, and you were on the inside with the Raiders. Were you tier 1 or tier 2? Did you travel last year, Brick?
I didn't travel, but I got tested twice a week the whole season, home and away, to get in the building. So I had to get
So you were in the building. You've been in
Yeah,
a
I
room
was
with
in the
Gruden
building.
this year.
I wasn't doing my interviews in the same room. We were in the same building, but separated because he was at a different tier as the head coach and the players. So I had a little bit different access because I had to be in the building to do TV twice a week. So it was different than your typical media member. But, getting back to fans and how many are going to show up, I don't want to go to sporting events that have 15%. I can do it. The Golden Knights, Bill Foley is going to be one of these progressive owners. He's been pounding the table to open up his arena. So the Governor Sisolak, out here this week said, we'll go to 15% capacity. Who cares? I go to a Golden Knight game. You've been to it. When there's 18,000, it's like nothing I've ever seen in sports. And I'm talking nothing I've ever seen. They turn it into a Cirque du Soleil nightclub rock concert with a great hockey team. I don't want to go there if every section is empty and people are spread out by 6 rows. To me, that is not fun. So in order to get this thing moving and getting it moving big, if you have a place like Vegas and we haven't opened up the stadium and it's completely sold out, you have to remind everybody, unless you get your crap together, your vaccine, your documents, and all of that, you're not invited to come. We have more people that will buy your seat if you don't get your act together and follow this new protocol. We'll miss you, but we have 150 people that want your single ticket.
We need to get it open, and we need to get open safely, right?
Yeah, we need to get open safely, but we need to be at capacity. I've taken COVID very, very seriously. I'm not like some of these dopes who predicted 1,000 people were only going to die. It was just the flu. I knew it was serious from the get-go, and I know it's still serious today, and there's different strains, but I've been covering the pandemic and been on the radio arguably more hours than anyone in our industry through the whole pandemic, doing 2 shows a day. And I'm at the point now where it's go time. Open up slow, open up with minimum capacity. And if it works, if we have 2 weeks of Oriole games where there's not a super spreader event, no one gets sick, go from 5,000 to 12,000. And 2 weeks later, go to 30,000. Get the numbers up, because I think we can handle this as a society. I think we're smart enough through a year, then it'll be a year and 4 or 5 months of the pandemic for everybody to understand who should stay home and who should go.
By the way, I don't know what it's like in Vegas, and I think of, certainly way further right than the society I live in, where in the city I live in, it was 92% Biden voters, to give you an example, in my area. So, and in most areas around here, working on 60 to 70% Biden voters. So I would think Vegas may be a little different. I know Nevada was swing, but like the mask thing, I went to North Carolina in like June and July, and it was wild, wild west. Florida, wild, wild west in various points. Clearly at Tampa, at the Super Bowls, what I saw in Ybor City was wild, wild west. What am I finding when I come to like? Have you walked through the Cosmopolitan lately?
No.
I mean, what's going on there? Like, let me, because here, dude, people are wearing masks. So to your point, if they open the baseball ballpark up, they open anything up, people here are pretty cool. People are wearing masks and being respectful and Purelling up and, black, white, young, old. I go up to the county, down to the South Gate, wherever I've been, people have been pretty cool with the mask thing here for a long time, I would say, which is one of the reasons, knock on wood, things are going better here. What's it like in Vegas right now?
It's kind of a zombie ghost town with a couple of places that are opened up that could be a little bit loose. So you can go wherever you want. It's just the capacity's smaller. So if I say to you, you're in town, let's go have dinner with our wives at the Palazzo, we can go there, and it's a ghost town. We can get in a restaurant easy, and we'll be socially distanced, and we'll have a great dinner. If you go to the Circa, which is the greatest new sports concept casino in the world, outdoor stadium swim, so they have a 3-level outdoor pool.
I'm Googling. Hold on. I never – see, this is why I catch up with JT the Brick, everybody.
Like nothing you've ever seen.
Because, if you're going to Vegas, I'm planning – dude, you know me. I am planning on being there for this Ravens game. I just told you it's a North Star, right? I don't have anything else. So a trip to Vegas used to feel I don't want to be a jerk, but it felt a little rudimentary. You know, it felt like I've been before, I'll be again. I love it. It's awesome. We have a great time. But, throw a plague in for 52 weeks to a guy like me, Brick. You know what I mean? And I start to dream a little bit. So Circa, where is this located?
See, Circa is in downtown Vegas, old downtown Vegas. And
Fremont.
Right there. And a guy named Derek Stevens built a skyscraper with the two greatest sports books, not one, two greatest sports books in the world, one indoor and one outdoor. So every one of your listeners right now.
What's an outdoor sports book? Like,
it's
what does
called
that mean?
Stadium Swim. Stadium Swim. It's like nothing you could even conceptually dream of. He built it. So Stadium Swim is an outdoor pool event, 3 levels of pools, cabanas, like the biggest pool party you've ever seen in Vegas. The difference is it's a sports book with a screen as big as the one in Jerry's World.
Hold on, I'm looking this up right now. Let me get this up on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm up on the website.
There it is. Look at that.
What the hell is that?
Let that sink in for a second.
Hold on a
Okay?
minute.
Look at the size of Circa. That up top is a lounge called the Legacy Lounge. And look at that pool. And look at the sports book. That's a sports book with 3 levels of cabanas.
All right, so look, man, you know these people. So when I come in and it's 84 degrees, all of a sudden I want the game in September instead of December, but I don't really – but I want better weather now with this. I mean –
you'll get great
I'll
weather.
spend $13 on a bottle of water.
Doesn't matter. Heated pool, cabanas, full service, everything you want. And then you go inside, and the sports book inside is insane. So that's a classic place for a Nestor party. This is where you want to do a party because it's so big, and that's the new addition to Vegas. So that's open. That's open now. If you came out here and wanted to go, you'd have a great time there and watching sports. Other places like the Wynn and Mandalay Bay, they're opening up more and more capacity. But by the time you get out here for Ravens football, we will be rocking in Vegas. We'll be safe because we have one of the most important tourist economies in the world. So if you got to feel safe about one place, you won't get through our airport without sanitizing your hands a whole bunch of times, feeling safe and going, I'm coming into an environment where they don't want to lose me. They want to keep my business for years to come. So they're going to go out of the way, Nestor, to keep you safe here in Sin City.
You miss sports more or normal sports or music more, Brick?
Great question. No one's ever asked me that. I'll tell you that. I don't miss sports because I haven't taken my foot off the pedal. It's different. It's different.
Well, you're still like golfing with your buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
Stop the music. I can't believe I've had you on 20 minutes. We didn't even talk about the Tahoe thing.
Yeah, the Tahoe thing was incredible. To be outside in Tahoe where the American Century Golf Tournament has put that place on the map and see them turn it into an ice rink with the lake. It was incredible. The only thing that sucked about that, it was there, obviously was no fans, and B, on top of it, there was really no media. I mean, this was a tight credential. You couldn't take a friend. If you wanted to take your wife and say, hey, let's go take a look at where we'll be tomorrow, I'll be tomorrow, not you. You couldn't walk her a mile close to this place because of the lockdown and Bettman and wanting players and organizations not to catch COVID. So I was up there for 3 days, did some skiing, did some outdoor drinking, and went to see some
nobody there,
hockey.
literally, right?
It was so trippy. Nobody. The players, the refs, obviously some NHL, and then a couple of media. I was on a platform with 15 guys and gals watching a game, looking around. And it was Mystery Alaska. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
I mean, I saw you posting the pictures, and I know they had a sun glare issue. They always have a sun glare issue. Sure. They had that when the game was here in D.C. a couple of years ago. The snow globe game in Buffalo has begat a pivot and interesting things along all of sports, right? Like, I didn't want to watch the Masters without azaleas in fall. Nobody even knew the Preakness happened here, Brick. Like, you know what I mean? The Preakness in Baltimore, if you would have asked people on the street, no one would have known that it happened in October. I had Baffert on, and, it was such a weird year, and we want things to go back to the way they were to some degree. This is going to be a little bit, there are going to be some stories involved in all of this, right? Like the time I sat on the roof in Houston at week 2 and watched a football game with 40 people in a stadium where I've watched Super Bowls.
Yeah, but getting back to the music. So sports, I could go to another sporting event. I could go see, or I could watch the Lakers. The Lakers played the Wizards, and it goes into overtime, and I'm on the radio live on Sirius XM. So I'm doing play-by-play, looking at my office TV. I'm saying LeBron loses, and I'm still on for another 40 minutes. If this was real sports, there would have been 18,000 people coming out of that joint. Some would have had a Sirius XM in their car, and they would have called me because I would have been pointing out a point of action. Hey, if you were at that game, call me. And there would have been a lot of people listening that might have called me. Now, silence. I have to tell the story of the Laker game, knowing no one on hold went to the game. Maybe they watched it on TV. I'm waiting for that crap show to end. But I'd rather get back to music because in a typical year like you, I probably go to 30 concerts, probably at least 1 or 2 a month, sometimes 3 from the Brooklyn Bowl, smaller venues to the big ones. And now I'm gutted because I've missed too many great concerts, so I want the music back.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's where I've been. And I've been going through all my memorabilia and stuff because I've been carrying this stuff around for 40 years. And I'm just divvying it all up. But looking at these ticket stubs, you know what we have going on here, Brick? We got cicadas coming here in the fall.
Oh,
we
yes.
got the, I mean,
I'm a Long
we've had
Island
everything
guy.
else. Now we get locusts, bro, you know?
Remember, I'm a New York, Long Island guy. I grew up with that sound in the summer, wondering when it would go away. I didn't know that was as long as the number of cicadas don't take over the harbor, because I got to see that view. I got to see your background all the time. I love the view there. Please don't let it be overrun by a cicada. I don't mind a cat in the background view because I know the passion you and your wife have, but I don't need to see bugs.
Well, we're going to fry them up. Put a little chocolate on them, sprinkle a little Old Bay on there, fix them all up. Brick, I hope to get out in Vegas with you. I hope we're elbow bumping right at that pool at some point. I will be in touch as we get closer to getting the Raiders and the Ravens on. And I guess if nothing else, the Orioles are 0.0 to make the playoffs, so it's already Ravens season here.
We're nervous about the Ravens game. The Raiders were 8-8. They should have been 10-6. They had some horrific losses. They're better than their record. But it's go time for Gruden. It's year 4 with Gruden on a 10-year, $100 million deal. Looks like Carr is going to be in the system with them. Waller, they got some really good players. Counting on the Raiders.
You're welcome, by the way, for Waller. You're welcome.
Thank you. And we're looking for a big year with the draft and free agency. And we're playing Pittsburgh and you. So we got to get going here. It's go time for Gruden and the boys.
All right. It feels like old times when it's you and me, except it's new times. Absolutely. We get to look at each other. I mean, the plague has forced us all to video, right? So this hasn't been such a bad thing. I feel like I had a couple of drinks at the pool with you, Brick. So I will see you soon. Elbow bump. Stay safe out there. Love to the wife. And Waiting on a Friend is my favorite Rolling Stones song. We'll argue about that next time.
Thanks for having me, my buddy. Best to your wife. I love everything you guys are about. Be good.
We're doing it. JT the Brick joining us here. Sirius XM, Mad Dog, Vegas, Raiders, all of that good stuff. Inviting me out and at least keep me abreast of everything that's going on out in Sin City. The diamond in the desert, as they say. We'll get back out there soon, hopefully by the end of the year. As I said, that's my North Star. Not getting the Northern Lights this year, but I might get a weekend with Brick in Vegas and the Raiders. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Still doing sports. Still moving around, but always Baltimore positive.